Hey guys, what's going on? It's Warpath 2 or Adam bringing you some exciting Borderlands 2 gameplay. I don't know if the gameplay is too exciting, but at least the news is the Mechromancer is finally out. I honestly can't wait to play this a little bit more in depth than I already have. I put a couple hours into it last night just so I can get a feel for the character and so I could talk to you guys about it. Alright, so let's dig into the character. Let's talk about the class. The Mechromancer is a brand new class, absolutely free. First time I've ever seen a game really do this for free. Really cool concept by the guys over at Gearbox. I really like the class. It was talked a little bit more as kind of a girlfriend class, but after digging into the skills a little bit, I feel like they really did something that was good for everybody, and I'll talk about it a little bit more when I wrap the video up. But the main action skill you need to know about is Gage's Death Trap. Gage is the character's name, Death Trap is the action skill. Death Trap is a very deadly version of a claptrap, kind of a hodgepodge of different pieces all put together to create one massive, insanely deadly robot. There's a lot of things that can be said about this. They kind of, as I stated earlier, refer to this as a girlfriend class. It is a very overpowered action skill in my opinion. You have Death Trap that's out for almost, it feels like 2 minutes at times. It's very hard to get rid of unless it's killed. That's the big kind of kicker. But it sticks around forever, and it has a very long cooldown rate as well to reuse it, which is 60 seconds. So it's a very powerful class, but it has some trade-offs with that as well, specifically with the action skill. When it comes to how the class handles, I think, again, it kind of hits the nail on the head here. This is not necessarily handling-wise the hardcore player's class. It's very easy in a lot of ways. Sniping in this was incredibly easy. You're going to see footage all throughout this game where I mainly used a sniper, and I was shocked at how much easier it was than using Zero, the assassin, who has a skill based around sniping. His whole tree is kind of based around that firepower aspect. But it was so much easier here. I was shocked when I figured out it was going to be that easy to snipe. When it kind of clicked in my head that, oh crap, this is a much easier way to do it. But that being said, it's still a very fun class to use. Death Trap is really cool. I kind of want to go over some weapon tips really quickly before we dive right into the meat and potatoes of this, which is the skills. So, weapon tips. As I stated with this, sniping is going to be really quick, really easy. I absolutely love the way the sniper handles. It's very fast, very effective, very good to use. Also recommend revolvers and repeaters for this class. The reason being, there's not a lot of kick when it comes to revolvers or repeaters, and if there is, it's usually predictable kick. So it's not too crazy when you go to fire the weapon and it just jumps around all over the place like it would for an SMG or revolver. You're definitely going to need this because in a lot of the skills later on, and especially the one I'll talk about and highlight in this video, kick really gets a hit, and this is a way easier way to control it. I also recommend rocket launchers. Rocket launchers, I think, will have a place with this class. They are good with a lot of the classes, but because accuracy with a rocket launcher is not always necessary, this is definitely going to help with that. Accuracy with the rocket launcher is more of let's get it to the area versus let's hit a specific spot in a lot of cases. Alright, so for everybody's favorite part of the discussion here, let's talk about the skills themselves. So what I'm going to go off of immediately here is what I call completion skills. Those are the final skills of each tree, and I'm going to kind of overview them. Under the Best Friends Forever, which is going to be based more around keeping your Death Trap alive, it's called Sharing is Caring, and this grants a copy of your shield to Death Trap. So think about it. If you have a 7,000 plus capacity shield, this is going to go directly to Death Trap, keep him alive a lot longer, versus having him unprotected. Under the second skill tree, Little Big Trouble, the final one is called Make It Sparkle. This is a really cool concept. I like it a lot. But basically, shooting Death Trap with an elemental weapon charges him with that element, causing his melee attacks and to deal additional damage of that element. So if you've got a caustic weapon and you're going up against mechs, you obviously want him to use that because it's better against armor, so you just shoot him with it once. But if you need to switch over to something that's stronger to get flesh, you can pull out a fire SMG and go ahead and just shoot him. Boom, he's going to deal fire damage. I like that concept a lot. Then there's also the final skill under the Ordered Chaos tree. It's called With Claws. Now, this is a melee override skill. While you have a stack of Anarchy, You're going to melee 2 Digistruct Claws and swipe twice at an enemy, dealing damage based on the number of Anarchy stacks that you currently have, and restoring health to yourself. The lower your health, the more health you gain. This attack consumes Anarchy stacks. The only thing I don't really like this is it does give you a damage rate per stack, but it doesn't really tell you how much it consumes. So I don't know if it's going to consume 50, 100, 20, 25, whatever it's going to be. I do like the idea though, because it makes you extra powerful melee, and it's going to kind of go along with a lot of the other skills in this skill tree. Alright, so let's move on to my favorite part of this, the nerdy part of the commentary here. We're going to talk about the suggested skill tree to go for. I say let's go for Ordered Chaos. Ordered Chaos is going to be based all around those Anarchy stacks, and I truly think this is kind of what they intended when this character was built for the hardcore player. What this is, and let me throw some numbers at you here just to kind of give you an idea. Anarchy is one of the very first skills you can choose in this tree. You can choose between that and another skill that's called Smaller, Lighter, Faster. Anarchy, at its base, for each stack you have, a stack is an individual point of Anarchy you get for killing enemies and completing certain things. You get 1.75% to damage and 1.75% lost in accuracy. So at its base, you have a total capacity of 150 stacks. You can't go above that. Stacks reset when you manually reload. So if you let it auto reload versus manually reload, you definitely have an advantage there. Your stacks won't reset, so you keep these damage bonuses. But that's where your accuracy is affected as well. So as you go down the skill tree, you've got a couple of other things that help you with this. There's one called Pre-Shrunk Cyberpunk. I suggest this because it increases the maximum number of stacks. There's one called Robot Rampage. It's a Death Trap ability. Death Trap is more of a melee fighter in that point. You also have one called Discord, which allows you to get rid of some of your Anarchy stacks, granting you a bonus in accuracy, fire rate, and health regeneration. So coupled with the base stack amount and the new stack amount of 400 with a maxed out Pre-Shrunk Cyberpunk ability, this gives you a real kind of flexibility to the character that I don't think a lot of people anticipated. So let me go back to that number 400 as a maximum stack. So to give you an idea, what this does is that 1.75% earlier, if you multiply that by the number of stacks, meaning 400, that's going to take you up to a 700% bonus damage rate. But that drops your accuracy by 700% as well. So you've got to kind of find a middle ground where you can manage the accuracy, get the bonus, and also have some for this Discord ability and a couple of other abilities down the line. There's also another really good skill I like here. It's called the Nth Degree. Now what this does when it's fully powered up is a bullet that hits an enemy will ricochet towards another enemy. It starts with Nth and then counts down until it gets to the 5th bullet. So what this will really grant for you is an opportunity to have bullets ricochet and deal extra damage. Now, some of that ricochet does not say it's going to be lessened like another skill that's in the Best Friends Forever skill tree. It looks like this is going to deal full damage every 5th bullet, which is going to give you so much massive damage. The only thing that I haven't been able to test on this one is to see if this is going to be something that is done with rockets. Alright, so that's going to wrap it up, guys. I'm going to give you my final kind of assessment here. On paper, this character is very overpowered. But I think in playability and in the factors as you kind of level up, you're going to see some of that shift, and it's going to become a tougher character, especially if you go through this Ordered Chaos tree. Once you're finished with that, though, I still think you're going to end up being a very overpowered character who has a lot to offer. This is definitely a complex character for the hard players if you go through the right skill tree, and if you're just looking for a character to jump in and have fun when you're over at a friend's house, it's another good character for that as well, because it's got a lot of good abilities there. Alright, so guys, I think there's a lot more I can cover here, but I just don't have the time or the video for it. So I'll maybe come back to this later on after I've leveled it up a little bit more to see kind of what else it has to offer here. What I'm also going to do is put a link in the description to the skill tree builder with my loadout, my suggested 32-point loadout to get you to that final skill in the skill tree. I think this is going to be a very good, fun skill tree, but it is going to take a lot of dedication and a lot of patience. So if you like the content, guys, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, or you can always follow me on Twitter at Adam7986. And as always, thank you guys for watching. I hope you have a great night. Take it easy.